Hi people, Moino Raven back here again as always, Andrew as usual. Yeah, I'm briefly going to show you an individual and then we're going to look at his natal chart, as you can tell and or see in the top left corner of the screen. So yeah, let's get going. Check out this guy, I'm not going to say anything.
During the late summer of 2023, a cannibalistic murderer went on a killing spree in the Zimbabwean capital of Harare, claiming the lives of 5 homeless men over an 8-day period. Identified by police as 20-year-old Thandolwenkosi Ndlovu, the suspect is accused of killing the victims by dropping heavy concrete blocks on their heads while they slept and disemboweling their bodies with shards of glass. According to police, he boiled or barbecued the organs over an open flame and ate the innards. Ndlovu reportedly confessed to the murders and admitted to cooking and eating the victims' entrails when confronted by police, only to backtrack and recant his statement, claiming that his confession had been coerced. Authorities claim that he tried to cut off one of the victims' privates before fleeing one of the murder scenes. Police described Ndlovu as a homeless man who has served at least 2 past prison stints. As word of the murder spread, many members of the panic-stricken homeless community began banding together, while others fled Harare entirely. Ndlovu is facing 5 counts of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder, and is believed to be involved in 3 additional murders that occurred in 2020 in the city of Bulawayo. The outcome of the case remains to be seen.
Yeah, so that's it, and this is what this guy's natal chart looks like. So, long story short, the guy's a cannibalistic serial killer that killed homeless people and essentially took their entrails or innards, just plain organs, especially genitals and whatnot, and then he cooked them and ate them, or wanted to eat them. So yeah, let's look at this guy and how come someone can be so, how it's possible, in a manner of speaking, that someone can be so fucked up. Obviously, for the astrology lovers, especially a treat. I'm not going to cover everything you see, only the things that he is notorious for. Now, you're seeing Saturn and Neptune here, both in Pisces, both going retrograde when he was born. Especially Neptune is at its strongest, or in this case at its weakest, with the pot of fortune being right next to Neptune, and they're all in the 2nd house. All of this simply means that Mr. Ndlovu is severely mentally disturbed, and he specifically focuses on attaining the material within given context of his deeds. It stands for organs, people's meat, people's flesh, just plain flesh. And the pot of fortune says that he has accomplished some hypothetical success therein, some quote-unquote success. The Earth, being in Aries in the 3rd house, stands for the way he goes to work, which is by force, obviously. And Uranus going retrograde in Taurus in the 4th house stands for his dietary quote-unquote preference. Mr. Ndlovu, since he likes to cook and eat organs, he Uranus being in Taurus, that's what it stands for. Uranus is already afflicted in Taurus by default, and then it going retrograde in the 4th house. The 4th house stands for his diet, and the planet and the zodiac sign it's in, and it going retrograde stands for a perverse diet, to say the least. That's why Uranus is also positively aspected to Neptune and the pot of fortune. It's sextile. It's also trying Pluto and Capricorn, also going retrograde in the 12th house, which stands for him doing things by force, essentially the same thing that the Earth is saying, him carrying out his nefarious acts by force. Jupiter in Gemini in the 5th house stands for him targeting children and people that are more youthful in nature, people that more often than not were underaged. That's why, and they were homeless. That's why Jupiter is in Gemini. It stands for his victims being more those that you would come across on the street, so homeless people and whatnot, people that are easy to spot in daily life and that don't really have a roof over their heads within given context. And the 5th house stands for stands for children by default. One of the main things it stands for. Mars in Cancer in the 6th house. The 6th house simply stands for his how discriminatory he is, and Mars in Cancer stands for him having a preference for raw meat, essentially, that he tries to tender. Mars is also trine Saturn. Like, yeah, this guy's chart is so fucked up. Like, so many retrogrades, and even the planets that ongoing retrograde are like so super afflicted. Venus is in Scorpio in the 10th house, which stands for the fact that he is seen in the eyes of the law as a killer. And the moon and Pallas there in Sagittarius stand for media publication, as well as from a neutral perspective, him being seen as someone that has done an abundance or has committed an abundance of crimes, obviously as a serial killer in the eyes of the law, and him being brought to justice. That's what this whole cluster with the Sun, Mercury, Juno, and Lilith all in Libra stand for. That's why all of them are in the 9th house, being brought to justice. The court system stands for the 9th, and the 10th house stands for the court system, but the 10th house stands more for the law, and the 9th house stands more for how should I put it? It stands more for him being trialed. You know, the judicial paperwork and everything else that leads up to him being convicted. And that's why one or two of them, Lilith specifically, is opposed the Earth. Simply him being apprehended. But yeah, you're seeing like the reason for why this guy is so fucked up to the point where he committed those atrocities is a messed up Saturn, a messed up Neptune, a messed up Pluto, all of which are going retrograde. In the 2nd house, a messed up Uranus, everything. Mars messed up, Jupiter not the best. Just awful. There you go, guys. Bye bye.